I bought more XRP, XLM, and other goodies when Jerome Powell dropped the hammer of the 75 basis point hit. I'm going to talk to you about what I've been doing recently and when I am buying and, well, the overall strategy, and I want to know your strategy. So let's take things from serious to cool and hang on out and look at some charts. Whoa, looking for me on the wrong side of the screen, huh? Gotcha on this Saturday morning. 21,321, that's how much Bitcoin's going for right now. Ethereum 1641, up 1.5% last 24 hours. XRP, one of the favorites of the show, 49.5, up 0.5% last 24 hours. XLM 11.4, up 1.2% in the last day. Now let's get into some trade talk and all that. We're going to start with XRP, and we're going to talk about why I put a 4-figure hit spread across a whole bunch of stuff. And what I'm doing right now is I'm sharing my experience with you so that you can do what, everyone? You can call me stupid. You could say, hey, that was actually a pretty decent idea. Or you could also do this. Share with me what you are doing. Let's just hang out and talk. No, none of this is advice. We're just hanging out. All right, so recently, I've been buying on macroeconomic events because that's had the biggest sway and impact in the market, all right? So CPI data, jobs data, Jerome Powell's Fed rate hike announcement, stuff like that. Well, during the last rate hike, I was watching very heavily, and whoever watched it, you guys saw, we talked about it live, right? We did this live. We talked about his body language. It wasn't the fact that they dropped a 75 basis point hit. It was about talking why he did it, all right, and what's to come and what the Fed is looking for, the tone, the presentation, the delivery, all right? Because once the news of the 75 basis point hit drops, everyone's got that news. But then you got to look for the deeper things, and that's forward looking. All right, so if we look at XRP, we're going to go to the 5-day, and what we're going to do, we're going to switch this up. All right, we're going to use lines. Don't worry, I know you got candlestick fans, but what we're doing right here is I'm showing you movement. All right, super important. All right, so the purple arrow on the left is when Jerome Powell, the announcement of the 75 basis point hit happened. XRP went up. Then he starts talking, all right? And this is the key. And this is what told me I needed to buy soon because there was going to be some panic put in the market. And that's exactly what happened during his words. All right, so up here at the top, you can see this is when, hey, the market reacted to the 75 basis point hit. We're like, hey, we knew that was going to happen. Jerome Powell starts talking right here, and he starts saying, hey, our target rate is 2.0. We're sitting right now, everyone, in the low 8s. So we've got so much more to come. And he goes, hey, the Fed is going to keep dropping the hammer on everyone until that gets back down to 2.0. And the market's like, yo, that's bad sounding. Yeah, and remember, the market is forward looking, okay? So yes, the 75 basis point hit was the price, the action right then. But it's his forward words is what sent the market even lower, right? And so as he was doing his speech, as all of us were watching this live, we started noticing like he was very cold body language wise. They're ready. They are geared really to keep dropping the hammer on the rest of the world. So as he kept talking further, he started talking about how, the job market, we're waiting to see that erode even further. We're waiting to see housing, the costs go down, all this kind of stuff, saying, hey, we need so many more things to cool down for us to really get back to a stable part. So if the market is sitting here going, well, wait a minute, Jerome Powell's like, hey, too many things are still way too warm. Because even housing, everyone, seriously, keep housing in mind. Everyone's freaking out going, oh my God, housing prices are dropping. They're dropping so fast. Do you realize how freaking high they were? They were up here. I just want to make sure I'm up in the camera frame. They were like up here, and they went from here to here. All right, yeah, that's a big drop, but that's still way bigger than where it was 3 years ago. It was down here. All right, so the Fed's like, yo, housing is out of control. Labor is still way, way hot. He also said families got a lot of savings that we can eat up. Yep, he said the U.S. families out there have a whole bunch of savings, that families are in good economic shape, and that means he can keep dropping the hammer more. So that right there told me, Klaus, it was time to buy. And that's when I started doing it. I watched the market panic, and I bought during this down dip. Now, it ended up being a good move because, as you can see, as of late, we've had a really healthy pop with XRP. We're going to get into that too. I'm going to do another video today about some brand new dates. Yeah, summary judgment date released, everyone. When would we learn if there was a summary judgment issued in favor or against, XRP team, Ripple Labs? We'll get to that video, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. So that's what told me what to do. The next date that's coming up is CPI data on November 10th. And now that one's different. Remember, that is going to be a data is launched. The market is going to pre-price in panic, right? We need to see something in the 7s. The market's either going to pre-price in panic, or what's going to happen is if you see a CPI report that is equal or higher, it's in the 8s, you are going to see the market freak out, because that means, guess what? Jerome Powell and the Fed, their 75 basis point hits aren't working, which means he's going to have to come back in December and say, Merry Christmas, world. There's my present to you. I'm going to drop another big one on the table for you. If the numbers come in positive, you could see cryptos move up, because that means then the Fed's 75 basis points hits are working and they don't have to be as aggressive anymore with their rate hikes. But remember, there is a time lag effect, and that's what we need to see going forward. Now, the story with XLM was also very similar. And like I said, these are the cues that I use in order to tell me, hey, when can I buy things at a discount? When are people going to panic to where I can be safe? Now, granted, right, when you zoom out, you're like, hey, you could have easily bought lower than where you did. You're right. I could, but you can't always time the bottom. I'm not timing the bottom. I'm timing the overreactions on the way down so that I can play on the red candles, and when things are nice and green and people want my stuff, then I can give it to them, everyone. But I did the same thing with XLM, and let's get this back down into the 5-day just to make it look a little bit more clear. This right here is when the announcement was made at the 75 basis points hit. The story was the same. Jerome Powell and the Fed. Negative forward-looking words, and we talked about it again on the live stream. That's what happened, and I bought on the way down. I was close to, I think it was like 10.72, 3 or 4, somewhere. It was really low like that on the average for the day. Now, I did buy outside of the crypto space, and I'm going to tell you a super quick story, and let me know if you think this is smart, stupid, or some other word that rhymes with an S that I couldn't come up with in time on this Saturday morning. Oh my God, there was my other S word. All right, Bitcoin mining machines for sale on deep discount. No, do not go buy, all right, any of those GPUs, all right, from miners. Those things have been rode hard and put away wet. And let me tell you, you don't get the herp from riding the seat on the tractor. That's a lie. That's a lie. But anyways, all right, so Bitcoin's a whole different demon than XLM and XRP. And let's go big screen quick. Now, Bitcoin's got this ecosystem, and no, I did not buy Bitcoin, but hear me out. So within Bitcoin, right, you have the price of Bitcoin. You also have the mining difficulty. Recently, the mining difficulty has been super, super high, right? It is super, super expensive to mine. You also have very high energy costs, right, which make it even more expensive to mine. Now, on top of that, with Bitcoin miners, what happens too is, everyone, the price of Bitcoin is super low, which means you're putting in a lot of cost and a lot of energy in a product now that is cheaper, and cheaper, which means your margins are less and less and less. So over the last several months, I have been shorting the ever-living crap out of Bitcoin miners, derivatives, anything associated with it on the stock side, and I have been a happy guy. Now let's tell the story about the future with that. Okay, so now you can only short things so long before the market figures it out, and you're like, well, Klaus, what do you mean figures it out? We're going to have pain price-wise for a while. Yes, we are. We're also going to have mining difficulty being really tough for a while on the Bitcoin side. And remember, I'm not buying Bitcoin directly, but I'm playing the ecosystem of Bitcoin using macroeconomics and forward thinking. So think about this. If companies out there know that Bitcoin prices are going to be low for a while, they are. All right, let's be honest here. We just talked about it. Jerome Powell and the Fed said they're going to keep dropping the hammer on us until we get to 2.0. We're not even close. So money is going to be extremely expensive here in the near future as rates just keep going up. Cost of everything goes up. So that means less cash flowing in. So those Bitcoin miners, right, the businesses that are like really screwed up because like their margins are way down here, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to do just what we saw in the article. They're going to get rid of their mining rigs. They're going to get rid of their staff, and they're going to do whatever they can to cut their costs like any normal business would. Now, how fast can they do it? Well, that's the window you have to be very careful of. That's when you start doing your action. That's when you start making your moves. Eating a little bit of pain now to, be happy in the green. Because think, these companies are going to figure out how to save money. They are going to sell their rigs, which is going to free up cash to get them through. The price of Bitcoin isn't always going to be down. Mining difficulty isn't always going to be insanely hard, which leads to super, super low profits. Energy costs, which are massive for miners out there, right? Energy isn't always going to be expensive because guess what? If energy is expensive, that means it's going to introduce competition. And if that introduces competition because companies know they can make money, more people are going to come into the space and then make that cheaper. They will undercut the competition, which would then mean the Bitcoin miners in the mining industry out there, that high cost of energy will soon start coming down, which means those profits down here will start going up. Yep, so you play the short and prepare to go long for the green candles on the mining side. Let me know what you thought of this price edition Crypto News with Klaus. Kind of cool, huh? On this Saturday morning. Thank you very much for watching. Check out this cool crypto Web3 video right here. Have a great rest of your Saturday. I'm going to keep dropping more content because I love the fans. All right, later.